I wanted to make a video really quickly, and if I knew better, I would probably go get in my car and sit in the car and do it, because the boys are still up and they're being goofy, and I keep hearing things, and I feel like I might get interrupted. But I was going to go to sleep, and I remembered that I had it on my heart to share something. And, well, I actually felt like it was really important to share. I didn't just think it was like a good idea. I felt like I kind of had to. And I'll tell you, it'll be clear why. I'm in my pajamas, so I was about to go to sleep. And anyway, so the reason I'm not going to the car is because it's freezing outside. And I could get the car warmed up, maybe, but just walking to the car would be too cold. See, the boys they're walking by, and that's distracting because he just did a goofy face, Gabriel, and walked by trying to tease me and get my attention as he walked by very quietly. Because I told him I wanted to make a video and not to come talk to me or anything, but they're still, being silly. When it's bedtime and it's late like this, and they all know I want them to get in bed, they get really goofy and rowdy, and laugh and stuff. But anyway, I'm going to try and get to the point of this video quicker than I just started to. So the reason I'm making this video, I'm trying to hold my face up so it looks a little thinner, because I've been, you guys, please, what's this? I'm feeling a little pudgy here. Anyway, now I feel like that's all anyone's going to think about because I made this. I drew attention. I think I'm feeling goofy because they've been silly all night, and then we were all laughing and being silly, and it's bedtime, which makes, oh my goodness, makes everyone get a little goofy. Anyway, the point of my video is I feel like I was supposed to share something. And so I actually feel like I was supposed to do this yesterday, but I never could find the perfect time to do it. Oh my goodness. I don't want to yawn the whole time I'm doing this. Okay, so yesterday morning, Monty's playing a really good song for bed. I hear it. Her playlist for bedtime just changed to a good song. So, anyway, yesterday morning, so today is Monday, today's Martin Luther King Day. So Sunday morning, yesterday morning, which was the 16th of January, 2022. I haven't been putting dates on my videos when I post them, so maybe I should say the date in the video. Oh goodness, I cut that one in half. When I woke up yesterday morning, I was right in the middle of a dream or a vision. I guess it was a dream because I was sleeping, but it felt like a vision. Anyway, in my dream, I was talking to God, and I felt like I was sort of elevating a little bit, or I was just really facing upward so intensely that I felt like I was being almost lifted up toward him. Not high, but just a little bit of a lift, and my body was almost like a jacket or like clothing, and I opened up, we'll call it a coat. So my body was like a coat, and I had my body opened up basically just my chest, you would grabbing a coat from both sides and opening it up, and I was opening up my chest like a coat, and I could all my insides were, it wasn't my my physical organs or anything like that, but it was, my insides were like all this golden, like shining, like glistening, really cool, like gems, and like really just really beautiful like things. I don't know, I mean, it's weird to call it that, but I had my chest opened up like a coat to the Lord, and I was kind of like lifted up like toward him, and I was saying, God, like, I was like in this, my heart, verse of the day. Now, wherever you go, make disciples of all nations. Oh, it went away. The yawns keep trying to come. I was saying, God, in this like deep, like attitude of thanksgiving was so strong. It was like pouring out of me. I was like yelling at God, but like in this grateful, like thankful expression that I had to yell, I guess, in a way. Not for him to hear me. It was just, I was so strong that I feel like I was yelling. And I said, I love what you're doing inside of me. And then I closed it up, like really like closed it up. And then I could hear like this, like, why are you hiding it? Why aren't you showing anyone, or something like that? And then I woke up. Oh goodness. Oh man. Maybe I should have done this earlier. Come on. Ross is like, why'd you leave bed? Come on. Am I gonna have to help you? Come on. Get up here. Come on. Oh, he's so cute. His eyebrows have turned gray. Okay, I have to help him. I mean, I don't have to. He'll just do this for like a long time before he figures this out. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna help you. Come right here. Okay, a little bit more. Come on. You can do it. Okay. Okay. Can you get closer? Thanks. Oh, I have an idea. Get on the recliner. Whoops. Oh boy. Is that gonna work? No, he's too heavy. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Oh. Did we get it? Okay. Sorry. I actually had to use my phone. Yeah. You wanna be on? Here. Ross. Wow, you're gonna look away. Look at it. Tell everybody, hello, it's my bedtime. Okay, anyway, sorry about that. So I felt like this, so I woke up, and right when I woke up, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to share I'm supposed to, like, I'm hiding it, or like it's supposed to be more, like, I'm supposed to share more or something. And then I was like, well, I had been, so like the last video I made, I don't know if anyone who saw it, or very many people or whatever, but I was sharing some things that were on my heart about God's goodness, and only kind of thinking about his goodness. And anyway, you go watch it, and maybe there's something good there for you. But sorry, I'm making a lot of weird faces and stuff. What am I trying to say? In that video, I got to a part of something I was sharing, and I was like, man, I probably should go into detail about what the Lord did there. It was like something that happened last year, and was still sort of happening. And I just took some vitamins. And the last video, I had a few burps because I had just had some sparkling water and some, I forget what I had, but I just took some vitamins. Okay, so I thought I wanted to take the time in the last video, but I made it like way too long already, to share some things that the Lord had been doing and like showing me and helping me through and all that. And I was like, well, and I kept it really vague and light. And so I didn't really get into anything deep about, and it, maybe sharing deeper things. So I was like, well, maybe that I'm supposed to maybe share those things. But, so anyway, that's why I'm making this video. Oopsie. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. I really don't want to do that to you guys, whoever's watching this over and over all night. Or all night. Let's not do this all night. I mean, all video. But, okay. So let's just start in April of last year. I was leaving my Pilates class. Oh, I did mention that, I think, didn't I? And, I felt like an itchy spot. I know. I keep saying, oh, goodness. I mean, not terribly itchy, but like a little something itchy. I think it's tired itchy. I came out of Pilates and I walked to my car, literally unlocked it, got in the car, shut the door. Oh, well, now we're going to be sitting in the dark. Oopsie, there's nothing I could do about it. I guess I could turn this way. Oh, hold on 1 second. I'm all tangled up in the blanket. Is that okay? So, the dog is... Oh, there's Ezekiel. So, I got in the car on this Suburban, and I immediately just thought, oh, I feel weird. And I was like, I don't like this. And I was like looking around the car, and just all of a sudden, like, immediately, I felt really weird. And like, I was like, am I confused? Like, no, I know who I am. And I was like, because for a minute I was like, I felt like I was so confused. I was like, he's taking the doggy to bed. He like, did you get Pearl? Yeah. Okay. So, Pearl likes to get on my legs, and then I can't move all night, so Zeke takes her. Zeke likes to, like, have the dogs with him. And I like that, too, because he has, like, plenty of room. So, I felt weird, and I was like, I feel like I don't know who I am. I don't know what's real, what's not real. Like, I got really weird. And I was like, I was sort of looking at my hand. I was like, I opened the mirror. I was like looking in the mirror. I was like, I know who I am. Okay, I know. Like, I felt like I knew everything I needed to know, but I felt strange. I called Jordan right away. I was like, Jordan, I feel really weird, and I don't like the way I feel. And I like, should I go to the hospital? Like, I don't know what's going on with me. I feel really, something's not right, or I feel weird. And then he was like, well, can you drive home? And I was like, I think so. So I put on, like, I think I put on a church service, or I put on some worship or something. And I did everything I could to just get home. And it was Easter break at the time, and I was like, oh, the kids are home. I'll just cook and like basically I won't think about it. And so I got home and I was like looking at the kids. I'm like, okay, these are my kids. Like, I'm looking at them, focusing on them, talking to them. I was like, okay, I'm fine. They're gonna help me feel better. Like, I'm just gonna focus on my kids, not think about how I feel. And so I did, like, okay, but I still was not liking it, how I felt. And Jordan got home. I like clung to him, and I'm like staring at him, and I was basically like thinking, please help me, like, do something to make this go away. And so we spent a lot of time, of course, like sitting on the porch, and him like trying to figure out what it felt like and all these things, and asking me questions. And we sit on our bed and like talk about it and think about it. Oh my goodness. And it got worse to the point where I was like shaking and convulsing. I would have to run to the restroom. Like, my bowels were like, it was like my nerves were, I felt like my nervous system was under attack or something weird, mixed with like really like digestive issues, mixed with confusion, but not confusion, just like not feeling real and like, and feeling kind of scared and stuff like that. And I would get like really cold and I couldn't eat really hardly. That part was really weird because I like could not eat. And then I would just like, Jordan would be like, you need to eat, like make yourself eat something. So I would like eat carrots as fast as I could, just like chomp and swallow them. Like I couldn't just like, casually eat. I mean, I wasn't like eating really aggressive, but like I was just thinking, okay, eat, eat, eat. Like I was like focusing on it. Like I had to make myself. And I had some apples, so carrots, apples, and oatmeal was basically all I ate. And the oatmeal I would just, oh my goodness. Normally with oatmeal, like if I was making for the family or whatever, I would put butter, brown sugar, like a sprinkle of salt, make it like really tasty. And but this time I was thinking, well, I don't want any more carrots or apples. And so I was trying to give myself a little more like something, something else, an oatmeal and like a few almonds, I think a couple times. But the oatmeal, I would literally just like put a handful, put hot water on it, and then wait a few minutes and then eat it and like drink water to like wash it down. I didn't put anything in it, which is very not like me. But I was like not eating for it. This went on and on like it lasted. The first part of it that was like really, really intense, where I was like trembling, like even walking was like, I had to, yeah, I felt so weird, like just this weird, like jittery, like anxiousness, like, and I mean, it was so intense that I was like thinking, God, like, am I dying, So that was like 3 whole days. And then on like the 3rd day, I was watching a prayer. It was like live prayer. It was Billy Brim. I don't know if everyone knows this, but watching live prayer, we took communion, and I took communion. It was wonderful. And then I got up like rejoicing. I'm talking like hands in the air, praising the Lord, like not giving any place to this. It has to go. And I felt like, oh, I feel better. Like I felt pretty good. Like I didn't feel all the way like it had never happened good, but I was like thinking, okay, all of a sudden it felt like relief came, and I felt like it was going to get better and better. Well, that, I think it was that Saturday night. So it was Wednesday. So that Saturday, we went to church, and when we arrived, we were like a few minutes late because we live pretty far from there. And I mean, it's like a 40-minute drive, but we were a few minutes late. It was an outdoor service where we took like camp chairs and we sat outside, and there was like an altar call as we were like walking up. So I was hearing like what the altar call was, and then I continued to hear, and I was like, oh man, considering what I feel like the Lord had just brought me through those, I think it was 3 days, but it never ended, and it really got intense. I kept thinking, I need to go to this altar call, but everything was perfect. I knew like I need to run up there and receive, like, and step out and all that in faith and everything. But I was like, God, I'm going to have to receive this at my seat. And I was like, Lord, just like, I can't go up there because whatever I was going through was so intense that I felt like I would go up there and just maybe fall, like wailing, crying. Like, I don't know how intense this is going to get, because it was just so like traumatic in a way. And I relied on the Lord the whole way through, which I guess I should touch on that a little bit more, because a few things that, like, came from those times where, and Jordan was amazing. Like, he would just sit and talk to me and ask me, like, what is it like, and I'd tell him, and then he would like ask me, well, like, well, what do you believe about that? And I was like, well, I believe this and this, he's like, okay, well, and I'm like, well, well, but this or that. And he goes, well, do you or don't you believe this? And so basically, I mean, I can't get into all those details because I couldn't even remember it perfectly, but I'll give you the gist of it. Was I had every answer to every problem in those moments of how I felt. Because I would just I would go from total exhaustion, because I don't know what was happening, if it was my nervous system or whatever, but my body was constantly just jittery and cold and miserable, and my stomach was all weird and feeling gross, and to the point where my body would feel so worn out. Oh, and I couldn't sleep. So I would lie down and desperate for sleep. And eventually, let's see, what was helping me was I think I was doing a confession over and over, or put on a certain worship song or something. I put on several different ones, but what happened is I'd fall asleep and I'd be oh, I'd feel so much better falling asleep. And then I would jolt myself awake, in full blown, what felt like terror, just totally awake. And there it was. And it was worse than ever when I'd first wake up. And I would have to just jump right out of bed and run to the bathroom. And it wasn't like a stomach thing where, you're just having a flu or something like that, like a stomach bug. It was my nerves would go so, and almost how I imagined how it felt when someone's about to die and they can't hold their bowels or something. That's how I kept feeling every time it would happen. And I was am I Lord, no, I'm not gonna die. And I was body, you get well. And I was speaking to my body, talking to the Lord. But whenever I'm just saying, whenever I had to run to the restroom, it was literally something was so intense in my body that all of a sudden my response would be I'd have to go to the bathroom. And it was I don't know, it was terror or something bad. So anyway, I couldn't. So what happened is I'd rest for a little while, maybe an hour or two at the most. This was even all through the night. And I would literally jump up, and then after I'd use the restroom, I'd have to put worship on immediately, or well, I don't think I ever really put too many sermons on in those intense moments. I would put worship. And then I would have to basically pace the floor, march around, and pray a lot, because I couldn't even sit. I couldn't lie down, nothing. And so what started happening was, whenever all those things were accumulating, excuse me, it's feeling vitamin, mixed with heartburn. Because you know what, bedtime, it's time to go to bed. It's not time to be up. It's your body wants to digest or something. I don't know what it is. Or is it just me? But so what was happening, sorry, I was trying to get back to it, was every time I was faced with all those intense moments, okay, and Jordan and I would talk it through or whatever, or I'd be praying or whatever, it would come down to the bottom of it all. It was if he loves me, if he really loves me, I can't, be afraid of this, or I can't, if he's my father and he's good and he loves me, then that's the solution to all of this. And then I would have to be faced with myself. I've never known, basically what it felt like. I might have mentioned this in the other one. It was the fabric of who I was laid out in front of me. Now that I look back at it, it didn't feel like this in that moment. But everything in that fabric that maybe didn't belong, wasn't from God, or didn't trust him, didn't receive his love and acceptance and receive him as my father, whatever was there, I had to face it all. And I didn't know it was even there, because I've always been I love the Lord. I love going to church. I feel safe there. That's all I've ever wanted. But I was faced with, do I really trust him when I feel like I'm about to die? Like when I feel like, something's really wrong with me, and I can't fix it, and I don't know what it is, and I literally couldn't function, couldn't eat. Like, can I, in those moments, I had to face the fact and realize, do I trust him? Do I believe he loves me? Do I receive his love? Is he my father? And so what kept happening, which really surprised me, was tons of weeping and crying out and almost like wailing in a way or something, but where I would be like crying out like, God, I would pray in the spirit, pray out loud, pray scriptures, whatever. And then all of a sudden, out of my like deepest parts was stuff coming out. Like I was saying, oh God, you do love me. Like you really do. You see these things. And I was like, I'm not bad. I'm not disgusting. I'm not ugly. Like all these, because maybe many of you don't know, like my past, but I experienced, like sexual abuse as a child. And then, my mother struggled with addiction, like all my life. She still has been, receiving deliverance from that right now, and been in like facilities, and right now she was spending nights at the homeless shelter in our hometown. So I'm just saying that part of my life was, not always great. Like childhood is, my mom, she loves the Lord. She took us to church, and she really did a good job raising me and my brother, but she still struggled with addiction a lot, and her own emotional things, like from that she still needs to be healed from and stuff like that. But anyway, so I grew up around a lot of just drugs and like, a rough neighborhood with lots of gangs and like, stuff like that. But my point is, because of things I experienced in my childhood, and I never wanted to give that any power or any place, really. I really didn't even want to acknowledge it ever. Just like, okay, God, and in private prayer, and in worship and things, and even in different services, you're like, yeah, God, I give that to you. I let that go. I move forward like in peace and like forgiveness and love and all these things. But I still had some type of like programming in a way, like of like deep down, well, I'm too bad. I'm too like, I'm gross. Like I'm ugly, or like just things like that. Lies. Well, I had to receive his unconditional love for me. And I had to face the fact that I can trust him. And like, did I really trust him? And so then when we get to these certain points, I literally, like, Jordan was asking me some things, I'd answer him, and then all of a sudden I remember the moment I was like, oh my goodness. Like, this was totally how it like kind of dawned on me. I was like, I don't trust God. I don't trust him. I was like, do I have faith at all? Like, do I even know him? Like, what if I don't have any faith? What if I don't know him at all? Like, that's how, that unwound me, because the only sure thing and like strong footing, I don't know if you could hear Jordan snoring, so hopefully that's not, embarrassing for him or anything, or, distracting, but it somehow just distracted me. The only sure, I guess I could have shut our bedroom door. Anyway, my foundation of everything in my life has always been on God. Like, nothing, like, well, that can't phase me, that can't hurt me, I'm not afraid of that, you know, you know, um, just everything, because God, because God, because God, because God, because God. And I always felt that's all I ever needed. Well, somehow in that, in intense moments like that, it almost felt like God was being ripped away from me, and nothing had, like, it wasn't like there anything had changed. I don't know what, it was so strange. And um when I realized that was the moment when I was like, oh my goodness, I don't trust him. I really don't. Like, I actually don't trust him. And I was like, why don't I trust him? And then it would lead to, like, do I even have faith? Do I even know him? What's going on? And then all of a sudden was when I realized, like I hadn't fully accepted or received his love for me. So, and as my father. And so, and because, I mean, my biological father, he, after he, like, hurt me as a child, he spent his sentence for that, and then was put into a like a mental place, like a mandatory one that they won't release him to the public type of a place, but it's not prison anymore. Anyway, and my mom, I had a stepdad in and out of our lives a little bit. I loved him a lot. He's gone on and hopefully with the Lord. I believe he is with the Lord. He really, I'm pretty sure that, he received Jesus, like, sincerely. I know he struggled with addiction, and he left this life too early because of it. But he wasn't around a whole lot, and when he was around, him and my mom fought, and, like, he beat her and, like, left her, I mean, bloodied and bruised, and, like, her teeth, like, through her lip type of. He kicked down doors and he was scary when he was like a biker guy, tattoos, long hair. But he did love him, and my mom had like a pretty special, I think, bond, and he loved me and my brother. But he just wasn't around. My mom would never let him stay, basically, if he'd been drinking, or if he was on drugs, or if, like, any other fights happened for some reason, because my mom didn't want that around me and my brother, even though she still struggled. She still protected us, so which I'm so grateful for. But anyway, my point is the father situation. I never had a dad, and I didn't ever want to be like, well, I never had a dad, so, like, I don't know, like, how God, I just didn't want to give any, like, strength or whatever to the thought that I couldn't receive God as my father, because I didn't know what a father, was really like, and stuff like that. I didn't want to, like, basically have that weakness there. I didn't want to, like, accept it or make it like a crutch or something. And so I never gave place to it. I was like, and I said, Father God. I mean, I've always prayed Father God, but, like, I got to the point where I was trying so hard to be like, he's my daddy. Like, he loves me. He loves me like a daddy. And so, and I always thought I believed it. I mean, and I believed it as much as I could. But then when I was faced with the most intense of everything, I was like, I couldn't feel this way as far as fear and all these things if I believed it. I couldn't. And so I must not, right? And so that's what I was faced with. It basically was a huge strengthening of my faith, or deepening. It was like a whole new faith. It was like a whole new faith. And I don't know if, like, I think he might be doing that in the whole body of Christ, and maybe all of you have experienced things like this in different ways, where you're like learning, or whatever, developing a new faith, like a deeper, stronger faith. And so that's how those days went, where I wept and cried and really basically received him as my Father that loves me the best I could. So then the altar call came, and that was like right after I felt like I went through so much, and I felt so much better. And I was like kind of too embarrassed or something to go to the altar call. I'm never embarrassed to go to an altar call, but I didn't trust how I would respond, because whatever was happening in me was so deep. I didn't really want to expose myself like that to just people, and I mean pretty much people I don't know, because there was hardly anyone there I know. At the time, there was only one person I knew. It was the only person I spoke to from there, but because we're new here. Anyway, many of you don't know like our whole story probably, but anyway, so I didn't go to the altar call. And it was so amazing and so perfect and so God and so like right on, that I watched that service probably like 10 times that next week online. Like I just go watch it. And I went to that altar call here in my living room like a bunch of times. But I really feel like I missed an opportunity there to like partner or cooperate with what God was doing in that moment. And I've never regretted an altar call, not going to an altar call ever. Like maybe never, but like especially never like this. Like it still bothers me, because whatever the Lord was doing in that moment, I should have cooperated with that and partnered and came, to that moment, and not just stayed in my own little comfort, basically. And that's what I did. So I had the altar call here in my living room like probably 10 times. I don't know, every time I watched it. But what happened was I ended up going into like a whole nother round of this episode that basically lasted like 2 whole weeks. And the dog. Why are the dogs out? I'm getting cold. It's like I need to go to bed. But that whole episode started again. It lasted like 2 weeks that time. And I remember there was like a little bit of like sometimes a pain, and like I never like have ever had headaches. So then I was like, is there something wrong with me? Like what's going on? And I had like a little bit of an ache, and I never had that checked or anything, but I just kept praying and thanking the Lord for healing. But oh boy, he's back and he can't get up. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, you can do it. Oh, he did it. He needed encouragement. There he is. Yes, he could do it. He could do it. Well, he could keep me warm. So, anyway, I got through those few weeks. It was bad. Like, it was horrible. I hated every second of it. And, then I think I felt better for like, and then it started again. I went through it like 3 or 4 times, and it was basically the same each time. And sometimes I feel like, I don't know if I ever, in a way, like, I'm like, did I ever, like, I hate to even use the term new normal, but I was like, is this just how I am now? Like, I feel like I never went back to who I used to be. But then I guess in a way that's a good thing. But in another way, I'm like, I always just kind of wanted to just go back to what was like, what I was comfortable with or normal, or what I was used to. And whoops, I felt like, anyway, I'm gonna have to do a part 2 to this because I'm getting too tired. So I do want to share a few more things. So hopefully I could pick it up right here and remember and share those so I can be a little bit more open about what the Lord's done, because I do want to express the gratitude of that, and I feel like sharing it helps. So anyway, love you all. I'll do a to be continued, I guess, for this. So I'm going to go to bed for now. Good night.